Hello there, it is Dr. Kimmery on this windy, brisk day, and I want to talk about everything we did want, everything we desire is ready and waiting for us. It's not always in the moment we want it, but the universe provides. And we get opportunities, and along with opportunities, there are obstacles. And what I want to point out is, I love the Rocky movies, and I also love the first couple of Creed movies with Rocky in them. I didn't see the last one, and actually Sylvester Stallone was not involved in the writing and the making of the last one, so I can't advocate for that one or speak to it. But the one where Donnie is looking in the mirror and Rocky says, "You see that person in the mirror? He is your biggest opponent. And every time you punch, what does he do?" And Donnie says he punches back. And he said, "This is always, I believe this in life. I believe this in boxing, and I believe this in life, that he is always the one you're going to go up against." So the universe always provides, but along with opportunities is obstacles, and they allow us to bump up against the edges of the self-created illusion of the box that we have, our comfort zone. And anything worth having is reaching out of your comfort zone for. You have to reach for it. We have to move those obstacles. We have to see what we're bumping up against within ourselves. The world can act like that we're bumping up against that, but really it's our own edges that we're working with. I recently, a while ago when I moved to the mountains, I said I'd love to have, a cabin in the woods, a little cabin feel of a house, right? And then recently I wasn't looking at all to buy a house, and a friend of mine showed me an investment that was exactly what I had envisioned. It looks just like a little kind of cabin, even though it's not necessarily a cabin. It does look like one, nestled in a little haven of trees, and it is in a price range that I could go for. And I said, I think that's supposed to be my home. It needs a lot of work, and I've done that stuff before. But to be honest, it's been a while, and it threw me. Even though I have this opportunity in my lap that is a great possibility, all my fears came up, all my limitations came up. Everything that is within me that I'm not even aware of just came right glaring in my face and challenging me. It's like, well, if I go after what I want and I can have that thing, every fear that you can imagine, whether it's a house, it's a relationship, it's a car, it's an opportunity, it's a job. I think that we get faced with what is really going on inside that person in the mirror, the one that is a little boy or girl inside that has huge fears. So no matter how much work we do, we're going to face that. And I've definitely been facing that recently and sharing it with people, because I'll tell you, like I said, the last few years I haven't owned a home. I sold my home expecting to buy a new one right away, and then life took a whole different turn. I ended up going to New Jersey, taking care of my parents, losing just a huge amount of loss in 1 year, moving to the mountains, feeling called to move to the mountains, and that was new for me, doing it on my own, not being right around the corner from my daughter or my grandson or anyone, just having to start all over. And that little girl in me was terrified to buy an investment, even though it's for myself. Like I've done this before. I have bought houses and did rentals and flipped them and owned them and renovated them. But for this last couple of years, I've been in my comfort zone in that area where that was not part of my trajectory. And I got a lot of fear around it, a lot of fear around spending the money that I have, that I'll have to work harder at bringing income, just all of these things. And it's like, wow, you've been given an opportunity that is right in front of you, and all you have to do is reach for it. And the one thing that I know is this, is that whatever I'm brought to, I will be brought through. I always, always, always land on my feet, not because I'm lucky, not because I'm different than you, not that because I'm better than you, because I take the next step forward. Whether it's fear, I face that fear. Some days I sit in the corner and want to put the blanket over my head, but then I get back up, just like in the Rocky movies. It's not how many times life knocks you down, it's how many times you get back up. And that's it. It's like, if there's love that's peeking around the corner, but we're afraid because we've been hurt before, it's like, well, life is so much better with love in it. Life is so much better having our needs met. If it's a opportunity for a job that stretches you, like I'm going to be speaking on Wednesday, an hour-and-a-half presentation at the Addiction Professionals of North Carolina, and at their conference, and that's a big deal because it's professionals, it's therapists, and it's speaking to the people who help the people, which is who I advocate for, right? But it's still, that little girl in me still wants to be like, why are you making me do this, And then the other part of me is so excited. I can't wait to share what I know that I can, be good at. I know that I'm good at this. I know this about fear. Anytime I face my fear, 4 things inevitably happen. First thing is I commit. Then I freak out. That little girl is just terrified no matter what it is outside my comfort zone. Then I prepare. I do everything I can to set myself up to win in the best way I know how. Not perfect, in the best way I know how. And last, I know this. I need to move the freak out of the way. I need to move over and allow the true essence of me, perfectly imperfect, to come through. Like these videos, I know they're not perfectly said and perfectly orchestrated and eloquently said. I know that because that's not really Kim Marie, right? Kim Marie is a connector, a person that would rather connect with your heart imperfectly and make an impact than have this perfect line of words that is just that. It's not really, it's here. I'd rather come from here. So in order to do that, I have to do it in the way I do it. And I have to allow Spirit to come through me. And when I do that, everything opens up. So I had a lot of workouts in the last 4 weeks, bumping up against my edges with this house. Even Friday, I called my best friend, just ready to bail at any moment. And it's closing tomorrow, and I was terrified. And when I started to talk to her about it and started to tell her all the renovations I want to make and all the fun things I want to do, and it's going to be a huge amount of work, but I started to light up. I started to act the way I'm acting right now, playful and light. And she said, listen, look at you. Listen to your demeanor right now. You're so happy. She's like, I really just think you're bumping up against your fear. And she was so right. She is one person that really reflects back and grounds me and lets me know when I'm being obsessive. Just same stuff I do for clients. We all have it. And fear and gut feelings, sometimes they can so closely seem very, very similar. There's such a fine line, but it's tapping into really what it was. Well, some of the fear, of course, it's the unknown. Of course, it's acting like I forgot who I am and my abilities. But I didn't want to let down the landlord that I'm staying with. I didn't want to burn a bridge. I didn't want to, so it was just like a bunch of little silly fears that weren't truths. And nobody was going to give me a hard time. And it was just all a bunch of illusion, fear, false evidence appearing real. So go after it, no matter what it is. When you face fear and you look fear in the face, you notice that it's you lean into it and it stops. The illusion just diminishes in that moment. So go after it. I love you lots. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.